like comfortable position you want to be in. Um, so this meditation is going to be, let's see, it's 12:19. So we'll do it for like a slightly less than 25 minutes, maybe about 22. And this one's going to be like a guided visualization. So the whole idea is kind of focusing the mind, relaxing, and you can be in any position that's comfortable. So you can be sitting, laying down, your office chair, whatever. And we don't have to be like monks. So if you have to move, you move. It's just awareness of your body and being in your body at this moment. I'm gonna just mute you, Shy. Okay. All right, welcome to our Bainbridge Center Walking the Trail meditation. So I don't get to go on trails very often, but I love to be out in nature. And I thought this is a nice little escape for midday, like Friday. So come into your seat wherever you are. And I always recommend taking off your shoes just so you feel like a little different. And then get comfortable in your chair. You can sit up straight. You can also lean back and just rest your hands, your arms towards your body. So the hands can be open, they can be clasped, just kind of doing it mindfully, bringing them down. And we'll start with just a couple of breaths. So allowing the eyes to close and your face to soften, your shoulders to soften, even let's say the belly, the back to soften. Just starting to make that shift from your day, whatever you were doing, to this moment of quietness. So we'll kind of just notice the heart rate here and your systems, the nervous system, and what's going on in your head. And we're noticing right now just in a neutral way, so with less judgment, and even with a little bit of kindness. I noticed right away my system's not that calm to start today, so um, it just is what it is. But let's take a couple of deep breaths. So inhale through your nose and let go out of the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Out of the mouth. Let's do it again. In through the nose and out of the mouth. That feels better already. So now just let your jaw soften. We'll take a couple of moments in silence. Allowing yourself to relax. And if there's a lot of stuff there and it's hard to relax, then don't resist. Just allow yourself to be as you are. And that feels good already, just to say that to ourselves. I can feel that in my body. It's a little bit more relaxed now. And so we're going to go on this journey today, walking a trail. The thing with the mind is that when we visualize and think through something, our bodies don't know if it's real or not. So it's powerful. We can bring the same effects of walking outside on a trail in the woods to the here and now. So we're just going to start by walking through a yard, a grassy yard. And it's green grass, it's cut. And we've got our shoes off, actually. Just looking around and noticing if you're alone. It's a sunny day. Walking just through this grassy, sloping yard. There's a playground in the distance. There are a few houses scattered in the distance. It feels like a calm afternoon. And you can feel the grass on your feet. If you would look down, you would see it's a little bit damp. You can feel the moisture on your toes. Feel the dirt and the coolness of the earth on your feet as you just walk, just slowly across this grassy yard. And we approach this trail, and it's a dirt, just sandy, kind of padded down trail with some big, big, beautiful trees around it. You can smell here in this moment, like the coolness and the freshness of the air as you approach the woods. There's a little breeze, and the temperature isn't nice, but it gets us in touch with our skin here. You can feel the air kind of flow across the arms. It feels really good to breathe in this fresh air. And as we step off the grass and onto the trail, it feels different. It's padded down, but it's soft. The sound is muffled. There's nothing pokey here for our feet, and we don't care that our feet are getting dirty. You can feel there's some sand now between the toes, but it feels really grounding. And there are people off in the distance, but on this trail, it's just us. And so we start to walk through the woods, looking up. They're full, full green leaves, maple trees and oak trees and pine trees, ash trees, and a birch tree. There's a whole canopy of green leaves, different colors and shapes and textures. If you look up and around you and further ahead on the path, there's sunlight that's kind of muffled coming through just in spots down onto the trail. And we can hear the sounds of nature here. There's some water flowing off to the left side. There are some birds high up to the right, behind us, and up above to the left. There might be the sound of a frog. Can't quite place the sound, but it sounds natural. It's soothing. There's no immediacy or rush in this sound. And so we've escaped our day. We're just in the woods now, just with us. And it feels really soothing to have this fresh air around us and be taking our time just walking. To the left side, there are some tall wildflowers. A little familiar and a little unique, some pinks and small white bunches of flowers. Lower down, there's some yellow blooms and a few bugs, a bee buzzing around. And that breeze flows down across your neck and your back and around the front of your body, over your hands, just up through the trees again. And we keep walking a little further on this path. You can hear a branch break ahead of us on the right side. And we look up through the trees in the distance. There's a little opening and it's swampy looking, and there's a dirt puddle or pond. Back in the distance, there's a deer, frozen still, its eyes perked up and ears extended. That smooth brown fur blending in, camouflaged with the other natural colors of the woods here. We just pause for a moment, feeling our weight balance to the right foot and the left foot, and then just staring at the deer and the deer staring back at us. And the deer begins to drop its head slowly to the water, and we take another step forward on this trail. Our hands are released just by our sides, just fingers relaxed. And now there's this release of tension from the shoulders from the neck. As we walk, you're just turning your head to the right side and the left side and feeling your body just soothed. As the trail curves over to the left side, we can see now that water, that sound was a little creek. Just tracing the side of the path now closer here, there's a sandy bank, and we can walk down to the edge and just put our toes in. It looks safe, and there are little stones, but it's not too rocky. And so just reaching for your pants or your skirt, just picking up so you can step to the water to your ankles and it feels cool. And there's that rushing sensation of the fresh water. It's so clear over your feet, and you look down and your feet just sink into the sand just a little bit. If you wiggle the toes, you can feel that sensation. And so we look up and around as our feet are in the water and just trace the creek up where it came from and where it's flowing, curving around near the path to the right, up ahead. There are a couple water bugs that are just jumping and see the ripple around their feet, their bodies. If you look at the surface of this creek, and a couple of rocks, bigger rocks, where the water juts out and up and around the stones, and they are wet. They look glossy and dark. And you can reach one, and your hand just comes to that stone, and it's really cool. It's really stable. It's a little slippery. And we begin to step up the bank and come out of the water and just have a seat down now onto this bigger stone that's near the edge of the creek. And move your feet over to the right side. And there's just this perfect little mossy patch. And so, and take your feet onto the moss and just kind of stomp them. And it's a little bit spongy. It's not wet, but it's a beautiful color. That green, like fresh, like something that was just born, really alive and soft on your feet. And as you sit down onto this stone, it's a little sharp, a little firm under your body, but just bending the knees and your back. You feel that stretch through your spine as you bring your elbows to your knees and just sit forward and relax. Taking a breath in with the fresh air and out, and just enjoying the quiet. And there's another branch that shifts and a crunch in the woods up ahead. And so we press to the legs and stand up and walk past the moss and back onto the trail. And our feet are damp on top and a little dirt sticking to the bottom again as we walk further and feel that cool dirt, the padding sound underneath our feet. And walk up the trail a little further as it starts to curve around to the right side. And as we turn that corner, there's a tree up ahead, and it's a willow tree, and it's big. It's really big. The trunk, if we tried to reach our arms around it, we couldn't touch our hands. It's wide, and the roots dig into the earth out through the back and all around it. And the breeze is floating up and around through the willow branches hanging down. And they just hang and drape in such a pretty way. This tree takes up a lot of space. It has a really, really calm energy. Its leaves make a little sound. And the bark now, as we go up and touch the trunk, is bumpy with deep ruts, just Float your hand across its surface and feel the roughness of it. Walking underneath the canopy and the flowing long hanging branches. And all the way around that trunk, stepping over the roots. And then through the branches where there's a break and a stream of sunlight coming down onto you. Feel that on your face. And just lift the chin to feel that warmth as you close your eyes. And step back to the trail to keep following it along. Now picking up the pace and just walking a little bit faster with a little bit of bounce in our steps. The woods looks different up here. It's all pine trees. And a little more sandy. There are some ferns to the right side and left side. That sweeping fan-like shape up from the ground. Perfect little leaves. Getting bigger and then smaller at the top. And the trees' branches now are up so high we can see a lot further. Pine trees all around. And some pine needles down on the path. So it feels a little different under the feet now. Some brown needles. Still soft. And we walk through. And the trail starts to curve over to the left side. And there's a big log down here. And so we step over it, just touching to balance ourselves as we go right over this blockade and keep walking. And the forest begins to change again. Much more ground brush here. It's thicker. Lots of different kinds of plants. And to the right side, there's a flower. And it's white and it has 3 leaves. It's really elegant looking. And the leaves are pretty big and they've got this kind of striped, just green pattern bending out at a really lovely angle. And we've got the time today on this path to just stare at this flower and enjoy its beauty. And as you keep staring and looking at this flower in the middle of it and see the little yellow pollen and parts, and then with your eyes, follow it down to the ground where its roots are. As we stare at this flower a little longer, it's really hard to believe that this is actually real. This is a beautiful flower. And there's this little spark as you stare at it that it's so beautiful. And a little moment of awe where it touches our hearts because we're a part of that. We're here to see this flower and made of the same stuff of it. And there's this tiny invisible connection between this flower and us. And a little smile crosses the face and we step back onto the path and keep walking on. Up a little hill now. A few small steps with roots to help your feet grip. And the path curves over to the left side. And up ahead, there's a platform and something out in the distance. The trees really curve around the edge of this platform, but there's an opening on the front side. So we get up to the edge and walk forward. Like a picnic table, the slats of wood are long, close together. We go right up to the edge. It's about 8 feet by 8 feet. And as you take your hands to the edge and look out, you can see a lake. It's big enough we can't see the other side, but you see the blue below. And our hands feel that we're not the first person who's been here. Many people have stood in this spot and felt with their hands this piece of wood, the railing, and it's actually soft from all the people that touched it before. And the texture of the wood under your hand, your fingertips, has those rings, the striations. And as you take your hand, you can feel someone carve their name to the right side, Ricky, and a little heart, and Ted. And you look on and notice that there are a lot of names, a lot of carvings, actually a lot of colors. And this railing's got a whole story. And you won't get a splinter as you take your hand across the whole top edge and just feel its support, its guidance, this railing, and look out further to the water. In the distance, there's that sound, not big waves, but just sound of the water, big water. The smell is a little different here. The sky is a little hazy. But that wind comes up again through the trees around the platform, swirling behind you to the backs of the knees and up through your chest, up around your face and in your hair, and then out over the water, the lake. And with one last touch to the railing, we turn around and step off the platform back onto the path, the trail, back into the woods, past some white curling birch bark trees, and make our way back down the little sloping hill, feet padding, now quadriceps firing just a bit as we step down slowly and look out past that path in the woods, the trail. And so now let's start to come back into this moment in our meditation in the middle of the day, our Friday in June, and just take a couple of breaths. Notice how your body feels now, how your systems feel, how your mind feels. And let's do a big inhale through the nose and out of the mouth. And again through the nose and out of the mouth. And one more. Taking that experience of walking the trail with us, you can start to open your eyes slowly. And as you do, just wake up your body, stretch through the arms, the hands, your feet, your toes, sitting up. And a little twist. And coming back to reality as you open your eyes and look around, still feeling that calm of the trail and walking in the woods. Ah, that's felt good. Thank you for joining. I hope you have a great rest of your Friday and weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks, Cal. Bye.
Bye.